Hello, and welcome to Bridge to Business, a show dedicated to spotlighting businesses in our township that impact our residents. I want to thank the Township of Old Bridge and the Chamber of Commerce for the support of this new show. Our goal is to show you, our viewers and residents, the businesses that make our town thrive. From small businesses to family-owned operations and large companies, we'll bring you all Old Bridge has to offer from these businesses here in town. There's no doubt that the last year has perhaps been one of the most difficult and challenging for our country, state, and community. Learning about the local businesses not only helps bring to light their products and services, but also the ingenuity, hard work, and American spirit that has helped lead them through this last year. Join us here each month as we showcase them here on Bridge to Business. Hello, I'm David Hernandez Jr., co-host of Bridge to Business, a show about Old Bridge Township, the businesses that support our community, and the people that run them. Each month we will showcase different businesses that provide our township products and services while showcasing the hard-working people behind them. Joining me now is Old Bridge Township Business Administrator HIMANSHU SHAH. Welcome to the show, HIMANSHU.
Thank you, David. I'm excited to be here, excited to see the start of our new show, Bridge to Business. It's in the continual, my commitment to communicate with the elected officials, residents, and employees. So I'm so excited about it.
Likewise. So this is our first episode of the show, and I want to thank you for the support. And it's in conjunction with the Township as well as the Chamber of Commerce. But to give some of our viewers some of the background, tell us a little bit about yourself and your history with Old Bridge Township.
So I started in Old Bridge long time back, March of 1993.
Okay.
I was appointed as a Director of Finance and a Chief Financial Officer. And I have served that role, even today I serve in that capacity. But in 2016, when our previous business administrator left the township, Mayor appointed me as an acting BA for in 2016. And then in 2018, he decided to appoint me as a full-time permanent business administrator also.
Well, that's great. So for many of our residents and business owners, just real quickly, the business administrator role oversees what?
I would equate business administrator as a CEO in a corporation, in businesses. It's an equivalent role. My role is to execute the desire of the mayor, obviously, but also the council, the rules and regulation. The difference between the businesses and the government is that obviously government has to operate under a lot of rules and regulations.
Certainly.
And as a municipal government entity, we are governed by the state statutes, federal statute. So it's same kind of a duty, but added monitoring of the rules, regulation, and laws.
Well, a large task for sure, so thank you for taking that. As this show is Bridge to Business, we really want to talk about the connection between Old Bridge Township, the mayor's administration, your goals as well as carrying those out, and how that links with business. So how do you value businesses here in the community?
I always feel that businesses are backbone of our United States as well as any local community, particularly small business. Mm-hmm. And so we have, Mayor and I value the small businesses or all the businesses in town, very valuable resources for employment and obviously for our revenue goals.
Right. So with Old Bridge being the third largest municipality population-wise in Middlesex County, what opportunities are there for businesses here in town?
Old Bridge is excellent location for businesses. If you look at the demographics, we have several highways running through town. We have Route 34, Parkway, Route 18 that leads to the New Jersey Turnpike, and Route 9 also leads to New Jersey Turnpike. So it's a very easy access and yet we are even though we are third largest in Middlesex County, I think that Old Bridge offers the suburban flavor and provides a great business opportunity to all the businesses in town.
And you touch on a great point with Route 9, Route 18, Route 34.
Route 35 that I missed.
Right, 35. We're just south of the Parkway and Turnpike. We have a hospital in town. We have an airport in town.
Yes.
And we have this great mix of commercial as well as a large residential. So it really has a beautiful mix here. Over the last year with COVID-19 and the pandemic, I know the township has stepped up to try to meet businesses and help them through this time. So can you describe a little bit about what the mayor's agenda has been and what you guys have been able to do during the pandemic to help businesses?
Absolutely. When pandemic hit last year in March, when suddenly all the shutdown took place, Mayor and I were very worried that how our business is going to survive. And so the focus turned right after that to help businesses. We did a business grant that we got through CDBG program. It's still ongoing.
And what is the CDBG?
It's a community development block grant. It's an arm of federal government that provides funding. And we took that funding and created the grant for small businesses. So in addition to other federal grants that they were entitled to, we created these grants to those who did not qualify under the federal program.
PPP and some of those things.
Right. Then, we have a lot of great restaurants in town, and we were concerned that, they were hit hard. So we immediately got our planners and zoning officer to come up with a plan to issue outdoor dining permit where they can create an outdoor versus indoor. And pretty much lots of businesses, a lot of restaurants took advantage of that. There is no fees charged to the restaurants owners, and that operation continues. Whoever received that permit last year, they continue to operate under that permit this year.
They'll be able to have that in 2021.
And my hope is that outdoor dining is a great enjoyment for residents as well as businesses, and we hope that we can make that a permanent way.
Well, when you think about Bridge to Business and how the township can help business, if a restaurant has 50 seats inside and they can add another 10 or 20 outside, I mean, that's a tremendous opportunity for a business, no doubt, from a revenue standpoint.
I think a lot of people visit our town and our restaurants in town. In addition to that, David, Mayor's Office of Economic Development, Steve Mamakis, has took active role throughout pandemics, where he visited all the businesses, assisted them with how to apply for the PPE or others. So, and now through Business Alliance, he's focused on helping businesses with the recovery and how to do the reopening. So we are continuing our efforts with all our businesses.
Well, you can see that. I recall being at a grand opening for a franchise in the middle of the pandemic, and we were all there with our masks, but right in the middle of the pandemic, we're bringing in businesses and certainly trying to help. And the Business Alliance is a big part of the arm of the mayor's office. So connecting businesses with yourself, Mamakis, and Mayor Owen Henry. So with us discussing the pandemic, let's stay on that for one more question here. Is what challenges do you see for business in the future here in town with the pandemic? We talked about permits and some of the costs and at half capacities, but where do you see challenges for businesses continuing?
Well, as with any community, the small businesses has a real challenge as pandemic continues and has not fully recovered. And so, our focus is saying, how do we retain these businesses to continue to operate rather than shutting down? There are some major businesses shutting down. So that is our focus. And then, as pandemic coming to an end, hopefully coming to an end this year, we want to see how they continue those services or expand on that. So that's our focus.
Certainly, and a good focus. We talked a little bit about this with all the various highways, but are there opportunities, and I know this is part of the Business Alliance as well as economic development, but are there opportunities to invest in Old Bridge today and in the future?
Absolutely. We're focused. I think if anybody has seen recent council meeting, through our redevelopment process, that we're helping businesses to relocate or locate and come to Old Bridge. We're focused on clean ratables, bringing more clean ratables to the community. David, when I started here in '93, this town had 80% residential and less than 20% commercial. And so since Mayor got elected, he has focused on bringing more business in town as well as retaining in town. So there is plenty of opportunity, a lot of lands available, a lot of locations available. We'll be changing in zoning laws to make it easy, permit process, make it easy. Sometimes, those are difficult.
Yes.
But keep in mind that those are rules that we must abide by, that are implemented by the state.
Oh, absolutely. And for the quality of life of residents.
Exactly.
And that's actually one of the last things I want to touch on with you is, we talk about business, and business is great. It's the economic force of a small community. But we also have the people, the residents here. So how do we balance between business and the residents' interests and the quality of life? We know about parks and different events, but can you tell us a little bit about that quality in closing before we finish here?
It's absolutely essential for us, and we've been focused on that, to making sure that we balance between the needs of residential, between the township needs, and the landowner's needs to develop their land. There's a myth that township can just stop all development. Okay, that's not. In the United States, a landowner has his rights, and we must respect that. So one of the things back in 80s was trying to stop residential development, open space acquisition. But acquisition of open space got very costly and there was a special tax implemented. At some point, town voted down the special tax to acquire open space, and they become, the land value has increased dramatically, and it's not possible for township to acquire all of those land.
Well, and I think ultimately that's where good governance comes in, from zoning to variance approvals to managing the township, which is really what the mayor has been doing, yourself, as well as the rest of the town. So HIMANSHU, just in closing, I want to thank you for being a part of this, also for being a catalyst and having the vision of Bridge to Business show here, where we're going to be bringing on a number of folks and businesses from the Chamber of Commerce, from the Business Alliance, and just sitting down and learning about the people and the businesses that drive the community. So I want to thank you for being a part of the show, and especially in the future for being a part of this as we conclude our segment here today.
Absolutely. I'm excited to bring all the businesses in town, their treasurer, to our residents so they can see and they can support. That's a local support that is essential for our businesses. So thank you, David, for coming forward and planning this thing.
Absolutely. HIMANSHU Shah, Business Administrator of Old Bridge, I just want to thank you once again for being here on Bridge to Business.
Thank you, David.
And now we're going to take a break, and in a few moments we're going to have the Mayor Owen Henry, back on Bridge to Business to talk about business.
Everybody should actually learn how to swim, because that way if somebody falls in the water and they can't get out, they know how to rescue them. My favorite thing about swimming is getting yourself wet. The YMCA taught me how to swim. We did the kickboards. we used these floaty thingies and we did this to paddle with them. And I can even go in the water to get water toys that sink to the bottom. I can only go when it's not on the deep end. Everybody actually can learn how to swim. When they think they're ready, they should come to the YMCA to get some instruction, because they actually give really good lessons. They make it fun and they're actually pretty nice.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Hello, and welcome back to Bridge to Business. This is David Hernandez, and I'm joined here right now with Mayor Owen Henry. So I want to take this moment and thank you, Mayor, for coming to Bridge to Business.
Thank you for having me, David. I appreciate it. This is the first.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You're interviewing the mayor. Wow.
That's it. Well, I'm very excited about the show here, Bridge to Business. So obviously, you and I have crossed paths many different ways through business and open houses and volunteerism and philanthropic opportunities in town. So it's nice to have this opportunity to share the studio with you. Thank you.
I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. So obviously, Mayor, you've been in town for quite a bit of time now.
Over 60 years. Yeah.
And your whole life. So tell us a little bit about your business background.
Okay, I started out in the trades and wanted to do something better for myself and my family. So I started my own business, I guess, back in the late 80s. With a partnership, and then I went into Owen Henry Contracting, I think in 1996. And I still own and operate that business today on a much smaller scale. But I was a fairly large contractor in the late 90s, early 2000s for a big major utility company here in the state of New Jersey. And I was very fortunate to have a great crew, and we did a lot of things. We built powerhouses, and it was just a really exciting time in my life. And I don't regret anything. It was a lot of work.
That's
7 days of work.
That's
but it prepared me for being the mayor.
That's right. That's right. Everything leads to the next step, right?
Exactly.
And you know, it's really interesting to have a mayor here in the township that understands what it takes to not only run a business but start one. Because starting one and then running one is two completely different steps in the process. So having lived here for so long, been a business owner here in Old Bridge, and now a mayor elected to take care of the town and help it prosper, what are some of your thoughts on business now in Old Bridge?
Well, we have a great business community. We have a lot of small business owners like myself who had the conviction, the guts,
that's right,
to take that money and invest it into the business. And so as a small business owner myself, I really appreciate the effort that they put in, like yourself. You know what the effort is to own a business. It's a lot like being the mayor. You're on duty 24/7.
Right.
You have to get up in the morning, whether you don't feel good or you don't feel good. You have to come to work. You have to make the payroll. You have to do all those good things that associated with the business.
That's right.
But also come the rewards.
That's right.
Being able, and my greatest reward as a business owner was writing that paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. That's how long I've been in business. I think we used to get paid once a week. That was my biggest reward, to actually help the people that work for me support their families and live their lives.
I agree with you. One of the neatest things for me is when I see a staff member and they're talking about holding the wedding for their kid or paying for that or buying a car or going on vacation. And I know some of that came off of that intuition. Obviously, their hard work in the workplace, but that initial step to go into business and then provide them the opportunity to
Correct.
to
That's
earn
what it's
a
all
living.
about, opportunity. And as
That's
a
right.
mayor, that's my biggest goal, to provide everybody in Old Bridge an opportunity to be successful.
Right. So when we talk about opportunities in the future in Old Bridge, this last year, 13 months has been perhaps some of the most challenging for people in their entire lives, especially in business. So how do you see Old Bridge preparing or helping businesses come out of this pandemic?
Well, we were there when we went into the pandemic. You know, Steve from my office, Steve Mamakis. We were there. We were in the forefront, getting out to these businesses and preparing them and what's coming. We worked with them during the pandemic, and now we're all hands on deck trying to get them out of the pandemic. During the pandemic, we did the outdoor dining for our eateries that were struggling. We've continued that. We're constantly talking to them, helping them. A lot of businesses, as you know, David, had to rebrand themselves, had to change the way they do business. Just the way the town has had changed. I'm sure you've had to make changes the way you do business.
Absolutely.
So we're there for them, and the businesses, I think, know that. We've provided grants for them coming out during the pandemic,
Yeah,
and
and
after hundreds of thousands of dollars we took from the CDBG fund, the block grants, we put them towards our small businesses.
And that
They
was
applied.
incredible, because when we had sat and talked about those opportunities, a lot of businesses may have not been able to apply for PPP
Correct.
or the economic injury disaster loans. And then Old Bridge steps up and creates another type of grant for businesses that are maybe even smaller. Owner operator, maybe single employee type practices. So when the township allocated some funds out of that was a great move.
Because
That was a
we
great
saw
move.
the pain that some of these small businesses didn't have the means to apply
Right.
these 30, 40-page grants, going through the bank in the beginning.
Yep.
Our application process, I think, was a 6-page, fairly simple
Mm-hmm.
process. So that to me, that was important, because even I couldn't fill out those large forms. It was just too
Takes a
much.
lot. It does.
Yeah, and then the nightmare stories of all these big corporations were getting all the money.
Yep.
And the small
Yeah.
guy was just,
That's right. That's right.
he was at the
Sometimes
end of
it's-
the line.
It's who you know.
Not even online.
So when we talk about business and bringing in business and economic development, that's great. But Old Bridge is a family community. It's we were talking earlier about how Old Bridge is the 3rd largest municipality in Middlesex County. So we have a lot of residents here. So how do we effectively, from the Chamber of Commerce as well as your vision as mayor through economic development, straddle the resident quality of life, yet bringing economic development into town?
It was a big running point when I ran for the mayor, that we were going to bring economic development to the town and take that balance, all that burden off the homeowner, and put it on the back of the businesses. Because we do, as you said, we have the population, the need for services. So our goal was to attract businesses that would improve the quality of life, provide the services to our homeowners, and provide jobs, which is important. And again, not try to attract businesses that would have a negative impact on the community. And I think we've been very successful.
Oh, I agree.
At attracting good businesses.
It's really interesting, the demographics of Old Bridge, right? So we have Route 9 and major big box stores. You have Route 18, similar. But then you go down 516 and you have these mom and pops, and it's that fabric of the community. And then you go down 34, similar, some bigger ones, some smaller ones. So residents really now have so many different options and flavors to either purchase products or their services from, that it's a very interesting dynamic, because a lot of New Jersey towns, they might have that little main street, you know, the bagel shop, coffee shop, restaurant, but here, I mean, you've got it all.
Yes, and we try to encourage Old Bridge residents to shop in town. You have, we have the Shop in Old Bridge card, where
That's right.
you get a certain amount towards your property taxes. But we're only, I think, one of the few towns in New Jersey that have 2 of the big box stores.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to mention their names.
Yeah, that's right.
But we have one on Route 9 and one on Route 18, and we take it right down to the small mom and pop, the card store or the, just all the small stores that we have are so important.
Right.
And they all fill a niche for the needs in the community.
They do, and I'm blessed to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce. here in town, and it represents Old Bridge, Sayreville, and South Amboy,
Yep.
and I know that you're a member of it. And Bridge to Business is really a joint effort between your office and the Chamber of Commerce. So, and I know you've been a member of the Chamber for a number of years. So, what is the importance of the Chamber to you as mayor, and then as a business owner?
As a business owner, I think it's the networking. You talk to other business owners, grab their ideas. Don't try to invent the wheel.
Right.
Listen to other people. As a mayor, I think it's great to get all the business owners together in the same room and talk. As you know, we've seen, I think a lot of our meetings that we've done jointly have been very productive.
That's right, yeah.
And the next day the phones are ringing and businesses are helping other businesses. There's something you might need that's right here in town that
Right.
you're looking for. And somebody trying to provide something, here they are with they have the ability and the opportunity to work together, and we bring businesses in from all over the state. Steve has the Business Alliance, which works
Right.
closely with the local chamber of Sayreville and South Amboy. Old Bridge being the larger, dominating town of all
Sure.
the three. And my goal has always been to not compete with Sayreville and South Amboy, but to complement the
Right.
businesses in town.
And really, that's been our goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is your office in economic development creates an atmosphere for businesses that they seek. They come into town, and then ours is to fill in the gap.
Sure.
Get them connected to consumers, other businesses, so that they can stay profitable and in
That's
town.
key. A business needs to make money.
Right.
And here we try to attract that business. You and the Alliance and the Chamber, we try to retain that business.
That's right.
And then we're here if that business wants to expand. And we found that many a times. A business is being so successful, now we have to find them another larger location
Right.
or help them with their expansion of their location. So that's important too. Expansion, more jobs. And I think once a building expands, you even got them more that they're not going anywhere.
Right. And it's very interesting because I think in a lot of towns, you don't see a very active economic development officer, similar to Steve, going out and creating relationships, asking how they can help. So that really leads into one of the questions I wanted to ask you here. And it's, during your tenure, what have been some of the big economic, or the big changes to economic development that you and your administration has instituted?
Right. Well, first of all, I did a full-time
Right.
economic, with
Because
Steve.
to say what was before, what did we have before?
We had part-time. It was part-time, fairly ineffective. They were, and I don't want to, I'm not going to, I don't play the blame game as a mayor. It just wasn't happening
Right.
before I took over. And I said, we're going to change it. We changed the zoning. We did economic opportunity zones in town, which allowed more things to occur on certain properties where properties were stagnant for so long. Why? Well, we would find out there's certain things that people wanted to do weren't permitted. So we went to the council, and that's always a challenge.
Sure.
To get the
A
zoning.
lot of moving parts.
Get the zoning changed or amended to where certain things can happen. We were successful in attracting some businesses to town. Now we're really moving forward. If anyone listens to the council meetings on what's going forward, we have a big developer coming in town
Yes.
that purchased a lot of property, and we're going into the warehousing phase now.
Which the township desperately needs.
Needed.
Yep.
We have one big warehouse in town, and that's
Right.
on Waterworks Road, and it's a
Right.
huge success.
Yep.
The areas in need of redevelopment I restarted the
So what do we-
redevelopment agency.
We have 60,000+. We have in residence 42 square miles
42 square.
and one warehouse, right? So obviously it's a need.
Yeah, and
so
it's a big, as you said, Old Bridge, all roads lead through Old Bridge, Route
That's
9,
right.
Route 18, Route 34, Route 35, access to the Parkway,
Parkway Turnpike.
pretty close to the Turnpike,
Yep.
exit 10 or exit 11 or exit 9. So there's a demand. And
Great.
with the e-commerce, the way business has changed, so we've become very attractive. We
Right.
have the land, we have and again, but we have to balance it. It has to be a balance. We can't go too heavy one
That's
way.
right.
We can't all of a sudden shift the pendulum. So
Too much.
Too much, but we're in a good position.
Well, I tell you, it feels good. It's nice to see a lot of this development. And just in closing, quickly, I mean, we're at open houses, it feels like every other day or every week.
Sure.
How many have
well
you done
over 200,
so far?
probably about 240.
That's a lot of open houses.
That's a lot of ribbon
open
cutting,
houses.
a lot of scissors, and a lot of ribbon, and it's just great. We even done them during the pandemic. We did ribbon cuttings.
Right.
People are able to open businesses, and now we see the increase. They're coming more and more and more as we come out of this, and we're all working together to get as we just opened up the township's going to assist business owners with employees who want to get vaccinated. They might not live in Old Bridge, but if they work here, we'll treat them as a resident and get them vaccinated. So
Fantastic.
we just unrolled that program.
Well, fantastic, and that's a great note to finish on. Mayor, I want to thank you for being
Thank
on
you
Bridge
for
to
having me,
Business.
David. We'll do it again, please.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see all the great work that's happening here in town, and I want to thank you, the viewers, for participating here to Bridge to Business. I'm David Hernandez. We'll see you next time.